afternoon, everyone. It's Tuesday. And what do we do on Tuesdays? Can anybody remember what we do on Tuesdays? Yep, it's time for our anger management sessions. I am so delighted to be with you again this afternoon for our Supreme Self-Development and Self-Awareness program. I am Lydia, and every Tuesday we talk about all things anger and anger management. Our aim is to learn as much as we can so that we can understand this emotion called anger and become exceptionally great at managing and expressing our anger in helpful ways. And in turn, we can teach others as well. I really want to welcome our supreme beings for tuning in on Zoom and of course on Facebook. I really miss you guys, and I am hoping to see you guys really soon. I want to welcome those who are viewing on Facebook who may not be initially part of our Supreme family, but once you're viewing this program, it means that you are a new member to our Supreme family, and I welcome you. I really also want to welcome those who are joining me on Zoom. This evening, I have 4 special people, and they're going to be helping us explore the session of anger management. Now, I hope that you have your tools ready, your pen, your pencil, your paper, and any devices that you want to use to help you make notes. Don't forget, I want to hear you, so send in your questions, and I'm ready to answer them once you send them in. So, I am ready. Are you ready? Those joining me on Zoom, are you ready for this
Yes,
evening
ma'am.
session? Oh, wonderful. I am ready as well. Now, you know I love to know how you are doing.
Yes,
So, how are you,
ma'am.
Jaden? How are you, Jaden? How are you,
I'm
Renison?
fine.
You're fine. I hope your week was well also. I had a lovely week also. Now let's go to our check-in activity. Now
I'm
I
good,
have
ma'am.
your week was good. Is that Renison?
Yes,
I think it
ma'am.
was Renison. Okay, wonderful. Now I am going to put 5 colors on the screen. Now I need you guys to pay close attention. You see those 5 colors on the screen? Now I'm going to give you 10 seconds to look at those colors. Look at them closely, and then I am going to take those colors away. Now I want one person, well, let's try 2. I want 2 of you to try to see if you can remember what colors were on the screen. All right? There you have probably about 6 seconds more. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Now I'm going to take it away. And I want to see
Red,
how many of
blue,
you.
yellow,
Okay.
dark blue,
Uh-huh.
and pink.
Yes. And pink. Wonderful. Excellent. Anybody else wants to try? Can anybody remember what colors were there on the screen? Anybody else wants to try? Okay. All right. Let's keep going then. That was a really good effort. I hope those of you joining us on social media, Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, that you tried that activity as well. Now we're going to go into a quick recap. Remember, it is important that we review what we would have done before because it helps to make a clear path for where we are going. So in our first week, we learned all about emotions. We looked at those 8 main emotions and we learned why we have those emotions. We realized that life would be fairly boring if we didn't have emotions either. And in our second week, we took a step forward and we explored what is anger. And we were wondering if anger can be controlled. So far, we've taken 2 steps on our anger management journey. This week, we'll take step number 3. Let's keep recapping. Now, one of the questions we asked last week was, what is anger? And we learned that anger was a normal emotion. We also learned that it was very, very powerful. That some
Powerful.
situations, wonderful, yes, it's powerful. And that some situations may cause us to feel a little bit of emotion, a little bit of angry, a little angry or frustrated, or it could take us way up to the top and we may feel what? Can anybody tell me what word we would have used? A word begin with F, or furious or rage. So we can be a little angry, frustrated, and it can go right up to anger or rage. Let's keep going. We also learned that it was also a reaction to a threat. When we think that something may harm us, our loved ones, something that we value, that we think is important, that we call our property, or if it was a threat to our self-image or our identity. And I remember one of the examples that we used would have been if somebody told a lie on us. That's kind of like a threat to our self-image and our identity. All right, let's keep reviewing. We learned that everybody feels anger. We learned as well that anger was a warning bell. It tells us that something is going on here that you need to address. It gave us information about what? Can somebody tell me what those 2 blue words are? It gives us information on the present and the
And
past
pass.
situation. Wonderful. And the past situations. And finally, on this slide, it says, anger is there to help us fight problems. Do I mean like
Fight.
fist fight? Do I mean like a fist fight or slapping or kicking?
No.
Right,
Solving.
wonderful. That's right. Excellent. It means it helps us to solve problems. That was wonderful. All right, let's keep going. I remember too, you gave me lots of words to describe anger. Some of you said mad, some of you said vexed, some of you said upset. You had some really good words there that really built your vocabulary. We also answered this really important question. Do you think anger is an emotion that can be controlled? And we learned that yes, we can control it. But what was important? What's important for us to control anger? We must have a plan. A
Plan.
plan is very important, right? And we learned a story about a little boy, Jesse, who had a plan and the situation turned out for the best. Now, I hope you had a chance to do your little weekly activity. If you didn't, you had to write your anger story, and it's there again on the screen. And keep trying it if you didn't get an opportunity to do it last week. I still want you to try it. Where you write a story about how you became angry, you wrote your faces, you chose the colors that you think represent anger, and that would have been your anger story. All right. So that was our review. So let's keep going. Let's go to this week. We're going to be looking at something called anger triggers. We've already learned that it is okay to become angry, right, guys? It's all right to be angry because everybody gets angry. But how we feel sometimes is affected by lots of things and some things that we cannot control. Our friends, our family, sometimes situations at school cause us to be angry, but we can't control those situations. But what we've learned is that what we can control is how we respond. How we respond is entirely up to us. And we don't want to lose control because we know that that's not going to solve anything at all. Now, remember, we said that emotion gives us what? It gives us the I word there. It gives us information about the situations that we are in. So when I know what situations make me angry, I can plan and choose the very best response. And that's what we're going to be doing this evening. We're going to be looking at those situations that make me angry and those situations that make you angry. Because we've come to realize that once we know those situations, it helps us to make a good plan to manage our anger. Now, everybody has something that makes them angry. Everybody. Right, guys? Right, Renison? Everybody has something that makes them angry. And we usually call them triggers. Now, a trigger is something that causes a reaction, causes a response. And I'm going to give you an example. Now, usually when people get tickled, they do what? What happens when somebody gets tickled?
Laugh.
Most people, right,
Laugh.
they laugh. Right, wonderful. So the tickles are the triggers and it causes a response, and the response is laughter. So our anger triggers are those things that make us angry. And a trigger can be a person. You know, sometimes there are people that make us angry, right? It could be a place, it could be a situation, or it could be a thing that sparks us or gives us that anger reaction. So just about anything really and truly can be a trigger. Now today, there are some really important things I want you to remember, and these are our highlights. Now our highlights begin with this one. Everyone has things that make them angry. And I don't want you guys to forget these triggers. Does anybody want to help me read? I'll go over the first one. Everyone has things that make them angry. Would somebody like to read the second one?
Yes,
I'll keep
please.
going, and when you're ready, you want to? Okay, go ahead.
Anger triggers are different for everyone.
Wonderful. Yes, anger triggers are different for everyone. I'll read the third one. If somebody else wants to jump in, you can as well. Knowing your own triggers is the key to controlling your anger. Anybody else wants to try? All right, number 4 says, some situations make us a little angry while others make us very angry. Another one says, some people may do or say things that make us even angrier. So I may be angry and then somebody comes along and says something or does something and it makes me even more angry. Can somebody read the last one for me?
Yes, please.
Okay, go ahead. Thank
Our
you.
thoughts can make us angry or angrier than we were.
Angrier. Wonderful. So our thoughts, what we think, can cause us to become angry. And then sometimes we are angry, and then a thought comes into our mind, our head, it pops in, and it makes us even angrier than we were before. So this is where we start our first activity. It's activity time. And our first activity says, what are your anger buttons? What are your anger triggers? And you may be wondering, why is Lydia calling them buttons? What do you normally do with buttons? Sometimes, yes, they're buttons that you put on your shirt, that you use to tie your shirt. But sometimes we press what? Buttons. On your devices, you press the buttons. You push the buttons. So what are those things that people may do that may push you, that may cause you to be angry? I want at least 2 people to tell me, what are your anger buttons? What are some of the things that make you angry? What do people do that make you angry or
Talking
say that
games.
make you angry? Pardon?
People
Can
teasing.
you
Teasing
Oh,
you.
people teasing. Okay. That's one of my anger buttons too as well. I want one more person. People teasing.
Calling
Anybody else
people
wants to
names.
try? Calling people names. Wonderful. Anybody else wants to try? What are those things that make you angry? And those are two really good ones that make a lot of people angry actually. All right. Now I'm going to show you some anger triggers, some anger buttons, and I want you to look at them. And I want you to tell me if any of these are anger buttons for you. I just want you to say, yes, that gets me upset, or yes, that gets me angry when I call some of them. Now, if someone takes your tablet or your device or something that's really important to you without asking, does that make you angry?
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. How about having to wait in a long, long, long line? Does that make you angry? Having to wait your turn
No.
for in a very long line? Somebody says yes. Okay.
No.
How about getting a
It
bad?
will get me
It doesn't make you
frustrated.
angry. Somebody said no, it doesn't make you angry.
No.
And
It will make you
we're going to look at
frustrated.
that a little later. What are the things that may make some people angry and may not make other people angry? So that's okay. Let's keep going. Already we heard that someone calling you names can make you angry. How about if you get blamed for something that you did not do? Would
Yes,
that
please.
get you angry? Yeah. How about if you were playing a game, football, netball, chess, cards, and somebody was cheating? Would that get you angry? Is that one of your anger
Yes,
Yes,
buttons?
please.
please.
Right. Okay. How about anybody who has siblings, brothers or sisters or cousins, or if somebody else completely makes a mess and then you are told to clean it up? Oh, I'm going to give you an example. Like when we are in school and the classroom is untidy, and then the teacher says everybody has to get up and clean, and you did not have any garbage in the classroom. Would that make you upset? Would that make you angry?
Yes, please.
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
it will bother me. It would bother me too as well. Or how about if you weren't chosen to do something that you really wanted to do? Would that get you angry? Would that make you angry?
No.
Okay, it would have made you angry. Anybody else? And that's okay because some things make persons angry, and for others, that thing or that situation may not make them angry. Let's keep going. Now, I have a story to tell you, and I want you to listen to this story really carefully. And remember, we're talking about anger, anger buttons, and anger triggers. So, let's go to the story for our activity number 2. Now, the story is all about Sean, Marcus, and Carl. Sean, Marcus, and Carl, they are on a basketball team. And they're all really, really good players. Does anybody here like basketball? Anybody likes basketball?
Yes,
Like to
ma'am.
play basketball? Okay, wonderful. So they are really good players. But they say that Carl, he is a hot shot. That means that he's really, really, really good. And he's always telling the others about it. So it's like he's always boasting. No, it doesn't bother Marcus, but it really bothers or triggers Sean. Now let's listen to this. Carl says, thanks, nice move. Hey, tell me something. What did your grandma teach you? Did your grandma teach you how to pass like that? Sean says, listen, just lay off, Carl, okay? Carl says, hey, here comes Granny now. Marcus then says, yeah, wanna hold my teeth for me while I blow you away? Now Carl comes in and he says, here we go, guys. Marcus has got the ball. Everybody get ready. Brick. And Sean comes in. You jerk. Marcus says, you all right, man? Are you okay? You sure you're okay? Sean says, yeah. Now Carl comes in to say, now check it out. Now Carl then goes on to continue to mock Marcus and Sean. Now in this story, who became angry and who didn't? Who was angry? Who became angry? Anybody remember? Carl was the one making the jokes, and there was one person that became angry, and the other person did not become angry. Can anybody remember
John?
who became angry? Pardon? Sean,
John?
right. Sean, right, wonderful. Sean got mad. Sean got angry. But what made Sean angry?
That he wasn't
Do you
good at
remember?
basketball.
That he wasn't good at basketball. Yes, that could have been one. But what else? There was something else. What was Carl doing? Do you remember what Carl was doing? Carl asked him, did your grandma teach you how to pass that ball? What does
Teasing
that
him.
sound like? Right, he was teasing him.
Teasing.
So Sean became angry because he was being teased. Remember earlier somebody says that if they get teased, what it makes them, right, they become
Angry.
upset. They become angry. Now how did Sean respond? Sean got angry. How about Marcus?
Angry.
How did Marcus respond? Was Marcus angry?
Happy. No.
No, Marcus wasn't angry at all. Actually, Marcus, he added something and he said, do you want to hold my teeth while I blow you away? So, Marcus was not at all bothered by being teased. However, Sean was. And that's what I want us to remember. Now, what may be a trigger or anger button for one person may not make somebody else angry. Now let's look at being teased. Even with being teased, some person may become really angry because of that, simply because they've been teased before many, many times. So remember, although something may not make you upset, it does not mean that it will not make somebody else upset. Okay? Guys, that's really important for you to remember. Now, I want us to keep going because we're really exploring our triggers. Now, there's some things that may trigger us at home. There are some things that may be our anger triggers at school. And there are others that may be our anger triggers in our environment. Remember, I also said that there are some things that may make us a little bit angry, and then there are others that may make us furious. Now, can you see the scale that I have on the screen? Write down by 1 in that area of 1, 2, or 3. Can anybody tell me what word is there where you may feel a little bit angry, frustrated? As we go up the scale, we become angry. As we go further up the scale, where we may become what? Furious or really, really, really upset. Now, I want you to look at this scale with me because we are being anger trigger detectives, which means we have to learn as much as we can about what triggers us and what makes us angry. Now, I want you to choose one of these numbers to let me know, and also for yourselves as well, if this will make you a little bit angry, or if it's probably just a 5 of anger, or if this is like a 9, 10, this is going to make me really furious. So I'm going to choose a few of them, and I want you to tell me what number that may be for you. Let's look at if I get grounded. What number would you put there?
1.
You would put that at 1? Okay.
That's
Anybody else?
You mean grounded
Somebody else?
from?
You can't go outside. You can't go to any parties. Your parents say you're grounded for 2 weeks. You may not be able to use your
I will put
devices.
as a 5.
You'll put that as a 5. So far, somebody says 1, somebody says 5. Anybody else wants to try? All right, let's go to this one. Someone calls me names. What number would you put there if someone calls you names? What number would you choose
8.
on our anger trigger scale? 8. I heard 8. So that would make you really, really angry. Anybody else? If someone calls you names, what number would you put? What number would you place that? Well, for me, I think I would put that probably like a 7. That also makes me fairly upset. All right, let's try one more. How about if you lose at a game or an activity? What number would you put that at? What number on the scale would that cause you to feel a little? Probably about 5 or 6. I heard somebody answering, but I didn't hear you clearly. Can you repeat?
5.
5? Okay.
Yes, please.
Anybody else? Anyone else? Where would you put that if you lost at a game or activity? Well, for me,
5.
that probably a 5 as
5.
well. 5. Okay, so that's kind of like in the middle. Okay, wonderful. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep exploring our anger triggers. Now let's go to school. I'm going to choose some, and you tell me if it would make you really angry or just a little bit of angry. Now, if someone steals something from you at school, what number would you rate that on your anger trigger scale?
10.
Somebody steals something from
10.
you. 10? 10? I'm hearing some
Yes,
10, so
please.
that means that would really cause you to be upset. Anybody else wants to try? All right, let's keep going. How about if the teacher gives you an assignment and you realize that you do not understand it? Where would that fall on your
9.
scale? 9. So that would make you fairly angry too as well. How about if somebody talks behind your back?
Oh.
10.
Or a 10. Okay, so
5.
those things really, somebody says a 5. Okay, all right. So even as we are doing this activity, we realize that there are some persons who will feel really, really, really upset with some situations, and then others it may not necessarily bother them. Like Sandra, that would have made her feel like a 6. And Chantel also said that made her feel like a 6 as well. While we have Tristan, that's probably just a 3. So guys, you see what we've been talking about. There's some things that make some people angry, and it may not make other persons feel angry at all, while it may make me feel a little angry or frustrated, or for other people, it may cause me to feel really, really furious. All right, let's go to our next one. In our community, in our environment, we're going to just do one from here. How about if you've worked really hard and nobody tells you that you've done a really good job? How angry would that make you? You worked real hard and nobody said you worked really hard and nobody says you did a good job. Where would that fall on your
1.
anger scale? 1. Okay. So that will make you just a little bit angry. Would that make anybody probably
6.
feel like an 8 or a 9? Oh, I'm hearing a 6. Okay. All right. That's good. Wonderful. Now, I hope you guys are noting these down. I hope you guys are noting these down because these are things that you keep looking at to remind yourself that these are situations that make me angry so that I can begin to prepare myself if I realize that this situation may happen, so that I can begin to make the best choice. Now, I want to go straight to something called video games. Now, why I want to look at video games is because we all love video games, right? You guys love video games, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you do love video games. And sometimes playing video games can be really fun, but sometimes it makes you
You get rage.
angry. Right, those competitive games can make you angry and you may feel a whole lot of things. Now, what happens in those games that might be your triggers that make you upset? What happens in the game that causes you to feel upset?
That the
Anybody
people
wants to
that be
tell me?
beating.
Right, sometimes people may be beating you, passing you out, doing much better. What else may make you angry in those games? Anything else can make you angry?
Um,
Telling you that you will
Sometimes,
not win.
right, telling you
people
that
have
you will not win, right? All of those things can begin
people
to cause you
happy.
to feel really, really, really angry. And that's why even while we're playing video games, we have to keep our eye out for those things that may be triggers. And when we realize, wait, some person is not playing fair here, or somebody just told me something that's not really nice, I can begin to say, you know what, this is going to make me angry. Let me begin to put my plan in place. Let me put my strategy in place so that I know I can respond in the best way that I can. And that's why I will keep saying that knowing your triggers is very, very, very important to understanding how to manage anger and to make the best choice. Now, also in our highlights, we said that there are some things that people may do that may make our anger worse. There are those things that people may do that may make our anger worse. We're already upset, but yet sometimes they want to add some fuel. They say add fuel to the fire. Those things cause us to go even higher on the anger scale. Now, some of the things that people may do, and it happens even a lot at schools, some of the things that people may do that may make us feel worse, maybe, you know what, I'm already angry and you're laughing at me. Yeah. I'm already angry and I'm trying to tell you how I feel, but you are ignoring what I'm saying. You're not responding to me at all. I'm trying to tell you how I feel, and you're telling me, you know what? There's nothing really to get angry about. What's the big deal? Those things, especially when we're angry, may cause us to go even higher up on our anger scale. So it's important not only to recognize what persons may do that may cause us to feel even more angry, but to make sure that we are very careful when we recognize that others are angry, that we don't say things to make them feel worse or to make them feel even angrier than they are. You know, sometimes persons may call others and say, look at her, she's angry, or even mock the response. So let's be careful that we don't do those things or that we don't cause others to feel even angrier. Now, there are other things that make us angry. There are our triggers as well. And it may not necessarily be like a situation or somebody doing something to us, but they are also our anger buttons. Have you ever met some person who, when they're hungry, they're really, really angry? I have. Yep. So even hunger sometimes is a trigger for a person, is an anger trigger. And when you know that when you're hungry, you get really angry, then you can put that plan in place and make sure you eat regularly during the day. Some persons don't like to be touched at all. They don't want you to come too close to them. Or even loud noises sometimes are triggers for a person and make them become angry. If they hear bad news, sometimes are also triggers for persons. Now, people or a lot of us actually, may also become angry when we recognize that other things or other people are being hurt. So when we may see animals get hurt, that may be a trigger for us. Or when we may see other people being physically hurt, or if they're treated unfair, if somebody is being mean to them, those things can also be our triggers. So as we explore today our triggers, I want you to remember that there's so many things that can cause us to feel angry. But what we've learned is that when we know what situations cause us to feel angry, we can put plans in place to make sure that when we see that situation coming, we know that, you know what, this situation is going to make me upset, and I know how I can manage my anger or how I can calm or cool myself down. Now, thoughts also trigger anger as well. Yep. When we become angry and we expected a situation to go in a completely different way that it goes, that can make us angry, you know. And we usually call it self-talk. Those things that kind of pop into your head is like you are having a conversation with yourself. And sometimes our self-talk can cause us to become even more angry. We may look at a situation and we may be saying that person is just mean, even if the person was trying to help us. So our thoughts can cause us to go way up on the anger management scale. And we're going to look at thoughts a little bit more in our session next week, because we must get a handle on our thought triggers. We must look at those things, those negative thoughts that push us right up to the top of the anger management. The anger scale. So as we wrap up our session for this evening, I really want you to take a close look at those key points that we explored at the beginning, because those guide us as in our journey as we explore anger management, especially triggers. Remember, everyone has something that makes them angry. And our anger triggers are different for everyone. So what makes me angry may not make you angry. And knowing your trigger is an important step in controlling your anger. People also say and do things that make us even angrier. And what did we end on? Our thoughts. Our thoughts about a situation. Yeah, what we think about it, our self-talk, that negative self-talk can be triggers as well. And next week, we're going to look a little bit more at our thoughts, what we think, our self-talk. And we're also going to flow smoothly into looking at anger cues, or we can call them clues. What are those signs that I am becoming angry? What's my body telling me? Does my body give me a clue? Helps me to know if I'm becoming angry. Remember, each week we're going to add bit by bit, because our plan is that we're going to become masters of understanding the emotion of anger. We're going to become experts at finding the best response to our emotions. Remember, I want you to keep watching our videos over and over so that you can practice these activities at home, because once we practice and practice, we say practice and practice usually makes perfect. Wonderful. So we've come to the end of our session, and I was really glad to be with you this evening. And I invite you to join us every evening tomorrow. We're going to be looking at conflict resolution with Shadi. So don't forget to join us at 3, where you're going to learn about, because we know sometimes, even in conflict, we experience anger. So you may be able to use some of this information in your session tomorrow. So don't forget, 3 o'clock. Come, be prepared, be willing to participate. It was wonderful being with you, and I look forward to seeing you next week, Tuesday. Bye, everybody.